And new developments, an elderly woman found choked and stabbed in her Novi home, and a neighbor who's been charged with murder before now under arrest. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig found out a lot more about him and the woman he's accused of killing.
Bernice Schoffel's daughter tells us her mom has lived here in her Novi condo for several years and was just 2 weeks away from moving when the unthinkable happened. After her husband passed away 22 years ago, Sharon Schoffel says her mom spent most of her time with her daughters and says her 84-year-old mom loved to shop. And Bernice was set to move in just 2 weeks to North Carolina. But yesterday, one of her daughters found her dead. The 84-year-old woman, who was so full of life, had been killed, and while there were no signs of forced entry, there were obvious signs of trauma. And it turns out the suspect was living here in an adjoining condo with his mom. A Novi police officer became suspicious when the neighbor began asking questions.
Outstanding police work on his part to talk to that individual, obtain a little bit more information, and then ultimately brought him back here voluntarily for an interview.
And turns out the suspect, who has a lengthy rap sheet, is currently on parole for manslaughter.
We're currently trying to ascertain what was involved in that and if there's any similarities to the crime that we're currently investigating and that he's incarcerated for.
But before he did time here in Michigan for manslaughter, Action News has found online records of a rap sheet in Florida. In 2002, the suspect was convicted of a charge that only reads as first-degree murder or attempted murder. We have calls into prosecutors down there to find out if that case actually involved a death. What we do know is after he was released from prison in Florida, he was formally charged here in Michigan for a murder back in 1998. He was initially charged with first-degree premeditated murder, but in 2006 he ultimately pled no contest to manslaughter. And in May of 2012 he was released from prison. And here we are again. This time the victim is 84-year-old Bernice Schoffel.
It's disappointing, but we have to look at that and we have to investigate that and try to see if that had anything to do with what happened here.
And the 46-year-old murder suspect could face a judge as early as tomorrow. In Novi, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.